Hey everyone, this is a clip from the regular exclusive podcast. If you like what you hear, then subscribe for more and find our podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts. All right, let's talk about The Good Mummy, the one that's worth rewatching, the one that brings joy to so many people, not the one that just gives us a headache. We're talking about the 1999 Mummy with Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz. Is it Weisz or Wise?
Wise,
okay.
I think. I don't know. Too. But I think you're right.
Ever since Rihanna became Rihanna, I'm just like, I don't know names
anymore. Is
she
Rihanna now?
She's been Rihanna for a couple of years now, I think.
I don't know. Well, I don't care. I don't have a problem. If someone wants to change their name or whatever they want to change it to, I'll call you whatever you want. But yeah, Rachel Weisz, I think it's Wise. I don't know. Actually, I'm assuming she didn't take her husband's name because her husband is Daniel Craig. So maybe she's Rachel Craig now.
Wisecrack.
Ooh, like a wisecrack. I like that. Let's call her Rachel Wisecrack.
There we go. So yeah, 1999. Budget for this movie was $80 million, and in the U.S. grossed over 150 million. So where the last Mummy did terrible in the U.S., this Mummy exploded and gross worldwide did $415 million. So I mean, the plot of this movie is kind of similar to the last one in the sense there's a mummy, there's a guy and a girl, and there's weird stuff happening. But in this one, the characters actually make sense. There's actually a plot. Brendan Fraser is a soldier that was a part of a battle at this city of the dead, and then he goes to prison, and then he gets saved by Rachel Weisz, and she needs him to take him back to the city, and then a bunch of crazy stuff happens. But
that's pretty good summary. Honestly, I think you nailed it. That's pretty much it. I don't think you mentioned the mummy, but that's okay.
Well, the mummy is part of the crazy stuff. It's in the title. The mummy mentions himself, but
I mean, he's only the name of the movie. He might get a shout out, but yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, but this movie was, for me growing up, this is one of my favorite movies. I watched it a lot. Did you like this movie a lot growing up, or what was your experience?
I never saw this movie because I was terrified of it and I hadn't even seen it. But it's because I went to Universal Studios and they have the Mummy ride, and I had never seen the movie. And Anne was like, "Oh my God, yeah." My sister's like, "Let's go, let's get on here." And I'm like, "Sure, whatever. Sounds fun. It'll be like sand, desert, maybe a mummy, no big deal." And like, I didn't know about those fucking bugs. That's a thing, and that's like,
the scarabs.
Yeah, the scarabs, real bugaboo for me. Bugs are my bugaboo, you might say. And so when like you get through the ride and it like hurls you so fast, like it goes insanely fast, then you get to like the end, you see the mummy thing, and then they start making the sound of like the bugs running towards you, and then they start like blowing air on your feet and shit so that it feels like they're crawling on you. And I started freaking out, and then they shoot you backwards through the whole thing. And so like I was like, I think I'm good. I don't need to see that movie. That was horrifying. And so, yeah, I did not grow up with this. I knew everyone loved it, and I was just like a little bit too scared. Like I could handle Indiana Jones, but like the second one scared me when I was growing up. So I was like, I don't think I can handle this movie. For sure, it's got better effects. It's going to look more real. So yeah, but now I love it. Once I finally saw it, like I think I saw it in 2020, so only 2 years ago.
Wow.
But, yeah, and I watched all of them. I love the Mummy now. I'm a huge Mummy fan. I used to be a scaredy cat, but now I've got balls. So not literal, but just FYI.
Gotcha. So yeah, this came out in 1999. So wow, you saw this in 2020, so way after. So the
late to the party.
Special effects must have been a little jarring for you, but
only really like I can handle like, I know it's from 99. It's better than the new Mummy in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think the only bothered me was like in the second one with the Rock, when he's like half scorpion, half the Rock or whatever. Yeah. And he just looks like, I mean, it's a cartoon character. It's so bad.
Pretty bad CGI.
Yeah, pretty shoddy. But other than that, I mean, I still thought it worked for me. I mean, yeah, it's not great still, but it's better than it still gets me.
I think it's aged pretty well. Like,
yeah, the bugs has.
For sure. Those are still creepy. So yeah, in 1999, here's some other movies that came out. Star Wars Phantom Menace.
Awesome.
Lots of CGI in that one. The Sixth Sense.
Great movie.
Yeah. One of my favorite Disney movies, Tarzan. Thank you, Phil Collins, for everything you did. You did that for us.
He's a hero.
Austin Powers. Yeah, baby. And
the first one?
Yep, the first one.
Yeah. Wow.
And then also The Matrix. So 99 was it's a good year.
Yeah.
A lot of great movies.
I don't think I saw any of those that year, but
well, we were like 9 years old,
exactly,
so probably not.
No, yeah. But I do agree, great movies. Great year. And like there's a start of a lot of like series of films in that year too, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah, several franchises.
Yeah. I mean, I think we were ready for a new Indiana Jones at this point, right? I mean, that's pretty much what this movie is.
It really is. This is a pure adventure comedy horror movie.
It's got more horror than Indiana Jones, but just a little bit, because there's also like faces melting off and fucking snakes and horrible shit, spiders, all that great stuff.
Well, and this movie is definitely scarier than the 2017 Mummy.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if you're scared of that, then there's just no helping you. Like the only thing that's scary is how bad the movie is.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. So I mean, we have to talk about Brendan Fraser.
We have to.
This was like the Brendan Fraser moment. Like this is when the world just like loved Brendan Fraser. He was a funny guy before. He had done like George of the Jungle and Airheads.
It's my favorite is George of the Jungle.
He's always the funny guy. This movie, this was like his Die Hard. Like Bruce Willis's action hero life started with Die Hard. This was his Die Hard. This is when he became a hot guy action hero. Me and Sarah were watching this, and she's like, God, Brendan Fraser's hot. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, watch him in George of the Jungle. He's literally wearing a loincloth the entire movie, and he has long hair, and he's just fucking gorgeous. Everything about him, he's perfect. And he's also like just so, you just always root for him. He's just so like got this positive, like kind of carefree, goofy vibe that I love. He's perfect. Yeah. He's great for this movie. Like he is I guess kind of like Harrison Ford. Like he can carry this and has the right like romance, but also adventure action guy kind of mix. But he's a little bit more goofy and fun, which I like.
He really balances the action hero and the comedy.
Totally.
Like one of my favorite lines is when they're on the boat and the boat's getting attacked and then it gets set on fire and then they're like jumping off the boat and the guy's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Right here. I'll go get help. Right. And then he just jumps off the boat.
God, he just gets a lot of really good lines in this movie, you know? He's just, and those like little, funny, he's very funny. And I don't know if I think he was funny in George of the Jungle personally. But yeah. I feel like this movie, he was really able to just like go with it. Like when the mummy like screams at him, he like screams back at it. He's great. And every time he's like, oh, Evelyn, like Rachel Weisz, because there's always some fucking trouble going on and she's like trying to figure something out, running around.
I love his relationship with Benny.
Yes, Benny.
Like Benny's always screwing him over, and there's just always a goodbye, Benny. Then he throws him off the boat. So long,
or
Benny.
Like when he's like at the beginning, he's like, "Are you gonna stick around for this one?" And he's like, "Your strength gives me strength," and then he just turns and runs. That guy. So his name is Kevin J. O'Connor, and he is in every single one of this director's movies. And
oh, really?
Yeah, we could talk about him in a minute, but I want to circle back to him because he's fucking excellent in every single one, and he's really funny and always weird.
Let's just go right into it. Yeah, we can come back to Brendan Fraser.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I love Brendan Fraser. Don't get me wrong; I could gush about him all day, but
we can't do a whole podcast about the Fraser laser.
I mean, one time we should, though. I think people would be here for it right now, especially. But yeah, so Kevin J. O'Connor, so he plays Benny in this movie, that like fucking slimy dude who just like screws everyone over and works for the mummy. I love that part when the mummy's coming at him and he's reciting all the like prayers in different languages
Yeah.
to be like, oh, that one doesn't work. Okay. And like just
Yeah.
changing. He's in Van Helsing, which is also directed by Stephen Sommers, and he plays Igor, which I didn't recognize him at first because like the makeup,
Yeah.
and he's wearing this whole like creature look kind of.
That's the perfect role for him.
It literally is, and he's such like a funny jackass in that too. He's like always screwing everyone over too. And then he's also in Deep Rising, which I hadn't seen until recently, and it's like underwater tentacle creature attacking a boat, a cruise ship, and a bunch of dudes, and he's in that, and he's fucking hilarious in that as well. He's great. I love him. He's a really good. I just enjoy that he's in all of these movies, and he's always somebody that like even if he's playing a total asshole, I still enjoy him being in the movie. He's still funny. You know what I mean?
So you said that the director did this and Van Helsing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, why didn't this guy just end up doing the monster universe?
I don't know, because he also like the
both
ending
of those both these movies are great.
Yeah, and then the ending of Deep Rising, which I was like, what the fuck? They like end up on an island, and spoiler alert, they hear like King Kong in the trees. So he was like setting up a King Kong sequel, starting the MonsterVerse before that was cool. I mean, I think Deep Rising came out in 98 too. So this was like at least like
Wow.
7 years before fucking Peter Jackson made his. So
this guy was ready for franchises before franchises.
I mean, right? He literally was. He had plans for like Van Helsing 2 and 3, and fucking for some reason people didn't want that. I still want it. I don't care how old Hugh Jackman gets. Give me some more Van Helsing.
I don't get why people hate Van Helsing. That's a fun movie.
It's like the best. I mean, just for the fact that it incorporates Dracula, the Frankenstein monster, and werewolves all into one story, and it works.
Yeah.
It's fucking incredible. I mean,
great.
He should be in charge of any monster movie ever. I love this guy. He does great like action horror. I think that's like his sweet spot, because the 2 mummies that he did are great, and then yeah, Deep Rising is
Has
similar.
he done anything recently?
Not for a while, but he did G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra in 2009, and then Odd Thomas 2013.
Oh.
Yeah. And so pretty much it looks like after Van Helsing, for some fucking reason, things just were not great for him.
Bummer.
Which is so bizarre.
Bummer.
Yeah, I don't know, but I would say like wherever you are, Stephen Sommers, give us your King Kong, give us your Mummy 5, give us like fucking another ocean horror movie, whatever you want to do. Van Helsing 3, 2, 5, all of them. I'll take it, anything. I love this guy. He's got a really fun vibe.
Yeah. He's a good time. So then let's go back to Brendan Fraser.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Brendan Fraser, this was his thing. He also did Blast from the Past this same year, which is another great movie. Brendan Fraser. And then he did Bedazzled a couple of years later, which is another all-timer.
Excellent movie. Him and Elizabeth Hurley are great in that movie, and his whole like thing where he is always making wishes to be different, and like I always love the really sensitive guy. He's like on the beach and he always just cries at the sunset, and he's like can't stop crying, and she's like, okay, like too emotional. It's so good. He's really great in that movie. Like all of the different parts he plays, he's excellent. He has such range. I know it's like a joke kind of comedy movie, whatever, but he's excellent.
Yeah. And then Brendan Fraser goes through a real rough patch. He does a series of not so great movies like Deadly Do Right, and then he had the weird thing happen where he was sexually assaulted by like was it like a studio head or?
It was someone at the HFPA, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, and they like totally denied it, made him like they wanted him.
Yeah, like no one believed him.
Well, yeah, and I don't think he made a statement about it officially until like the Me Too movement, and he was like ready to speak up finally because he didn't know and he was scared and he didn't want to ruin his career, and it's just like really sad because
like it clearly like it had a huge effect on him and messed with his head a lot, and he just kind of stopped doing movies. Like the last like notable movie he did was Crash.
Mm-hmm.
Which was like the same year that this happened,
Hmm.
And then like he just kind of stopped doing movies. He was on like a couple like TV shows. He was on my favorite show, Scrubs, and he's my favorite guest
Incredible.
character on that
Yeah.
show. He plays Dr. Cox's brother-in-law, and he's amazing. But yeah, and then I think the last big movie he did was the Mummy, the third one.
The Dragon. Is that the title? The
Yeah, like
Mummy, the third one.
the third
The
one.
Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I know what it is. I haven't seen it, but
Yeah, then like he had done so much damage to his body over the years of like just constantly being in shape that he had to have like a spinal surgery that didn't take, and so he had to have the surgery again,
God.
and that just like wrecked him. And then that's when he like gained all of his weight. So if you've seen him like at any point in the last couple of years, like he looks completely different. It's
Yeah.
because of those surgeries. Then he got a really messy divorce and all this stuff, and so he's just been like run through the
Worst of the worst, and it sucks because he's so wonderful and he seems like just the nicest guy, that it's like so upsetting that like any of this would happen to him, let alone all of it.
Yeah, well, and then something just happened recently, which was kind of the inspiration for us doing this movie. So tell me what was going on recently, because I know you have been following it more than I have.
Yeah, I mean, it was just recently at the premiere of the Whale, which is the new movie that he's in. He's literally, his comeback this year consists of a film, The Whale by Darren Aronofsky, and then he's also going to be in the new Martin Scorsese movie, The Killers of the Flower Moon, with Leo DiCaprio. So he's just like coming back in swinging. But The Whale just had its first premiere at a festival recently, and he got like a 10-minute or 6-minute whatever standing ovation, which I can't wrap my head around. I could never do that. I don't care. I would
just
leave.
Stand there for 6 minutes.
6 minutes? Oh my God, one round of applause. 1 minute would be too long. I would feel, and he's just so adorable. He's literally like crying throughout it, and all these videos are going around, and then he does that little like, oh shucks, like kick, and he's just like so cute, and he like bows. I mean, it's just adorable. And I love how everybody's just like obsessed with him again and like so happy for him. And I still think my favorite tweet though that I saw recently with all of this was I'm sure Brendan Fraser really loves that we're all treating him like a 3-legged dog. But it's like, look at him go, he's back, he's doing so good. I'm just so happy for him.
I saw a video, and it was like him being interviewed on like TikTok or something, and it was like this young girl that was like interviewing him, and she was like saying, the whole internet loves you, we are so happy that you are back, that you're going to be in roles, like we are so excited, like you have support. And like he starts crying
I know
on that
I saw
interview
that too.
and it's just like
so adorable.
Oh, just can't not love this guy.
I mean, God, I mean, even if they kept the new Mummy as is, if they had replaced Tom Cruise with Brendan Fraser, I think I still would have enjoyed it a lot.
People would have gone back just to see that, I think.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm just so into everything that he's doing and all of his movies. I've always loved him. I don't think there's a movie where I've been like, fuck him. Like, he's great in everything. Yeah. I'm so happy that he's having a big moment again, and hopefully things are taking a positive turn, because if anyone fucking deserves it, it's Brendan fucking Fraser.
It is.
Brendan motherfucking Fraser.
Fraser Laser.
Fraser Laser. I love him. But yeah, he's I also think he has great chemistry with Rachel Weisz.
That so good. Especially
so good.
So wait, hold on real quick. What order did you watch these in? Did you make you made the mistake?
Yeah, I watched this one. I watched the 1999 Mummy, and then I watched immediately afterwards the 2018 or whenever the fuck that came out, 2017 Mummy. And it was just the worst. I was like, I feel like I have to like get mouthwash to like get this taste out of my mouth of this fucking movie. I had to watch like 5 movies just to make myself feel better.
That is the worst, because you start off on such a high and then you just bring yourself down.
I was like, I think I'm gonna just have to go back and watch The Mummy again, which I did, like the 1999 again, and I just feel so much better. So I was like really defeated when we were talking about The Mummy, like the new one. I was so negative going into that. I was like, God, this blows.
But yeah, you're totally right. Like the chemistry, especially comparing those two movies and the leads, the chemistry is just totally different. Like you have no chemistry. Like the only chemistry that I think that's maybe worse than the 2017 Mummy is Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard in Jurassic World. I'm not convinced they even filmed scenes in the same room.
It's sad because their chemistry is the best in the first Jurassic World. Like by the newest one,
Oh
I
my
was just like, do they even really care about each other?
god.
Like, I don't get this. And then like the second one, again, just kind of random and it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, they just really fucked that up. But yeah, it really matters. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, like Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz are so good in this.
I know.
Like from the jump. I mean, they play like kind of the typical opposite
Yep.
attracts kind of thing,
Yeah.
but it's so charming.
It's so
You know,
charming.
it's so good how they annoy each other, but like they're kind of attracted to each other, and then
Oh,
they
they're
just
definitely.
they
Yeah.
actually just start coming together, which is the thing I hated in the 2017 one. I'm like, there's no development of their relationship at all. They are just around each other, and it's just like love is familiarity over time, and it's like no.
Didn't he like sleep with her at the beginning of the movie and steal all
That
of her shit? So like
apparently, yeah.
yeah, I don't know what the deal is there, but if he was like at the end of that movie, if I were her, I would have cut his head off myself.
the the one of my favorite scenes is the when they get to the city of the dead and she's drunk at the fire.
Yes, I was just about to
It's
say that's like
so
my
cute.
favorite.
But I am proud of what I am.
And what is that?
I am a librarian.
She just keeps up with him perfectly and like they both grow so much over the movie and it makes sense that they're together. I do also enjoy the brother for the comedic
Oh,
relief.
he's great.
He's so good.
I love the part when the people that protect the city and try to prevent the mummy from coming back, when they invade the camp and the brother is just drinking from the scotch or whatever, and he's just like
Yeah, he's
just
just
shooting.
It's so good. He's great the entire time. Everything he does is just he's hilarious. And I feel like I would be like that kind of a character in this kind of a situation. I would not be the smart one figuring everything out. I would not be the swashbuckling like super action hero. I would be the fucking idiot that's getting drunk and like but also somehow makes it through the movie maybe. I mean like the part when all the zombie things come out and they're all like
Mhm.
emo tap and he just starts walking with them and saying it. It's like that's fucking genius and that's probably what I would fucking do. Just be like, "Oh yeah, I'll just blend in." He's great. I mean, the casting all around in this movie, like the guy who plays the mummy, Emotep,
Yeah,
excellent.
it's great.
Doesn't speak a lot, but he's great.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he has one line in English. I think everything he says
Yeah.
is in Egyptian. Is that the language? Or I don't know.
Ancient Egyptian, I believe,
Ancient
is what the
Egyptian.
caption said. So
Well, Renee, I'm surprised that you say that you would end up living through this, because I was going to ask you the question of at what point do you just kill yourself? You know, in
yeah,
horror movies, that's your go-to. So
I mean, I'm not going in the tomb or wherever the fuck they're going digging for shit. There's just no way. I don't care what gold is in there. I will stay outside and hide. And like that's what I would do. I would be that, but then I wouldn't be there. No one would bring me on a trip like this. I serve no purpose. I don't pickpocket important keys from people like the brother at least does. But if I was to be there by some fucking chance or like, accidentally someone picked me instead of somebody else, then I would probably be the brother. But also, yeah, I wouldn't get into these scenarios. I don't think I would just try and ditch at every point.
the moment you saw one of the scarabs is probably
I mean, that guy also, yeah, I wouldn't also do what that guy does who was the first to die with the bugs. And he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I hate bugs." It's like, don't ever say what you don't like in a horror movie. Are you kidding? That's like the number one like rule for me is like you never say, "Oh man, my thing that I hate is this," because that's what's gonna fucking kill you 20 minutes into the movie. I swear to God, it happens every time. You never say what you're afraid of.
Well, and the way that guy dies is gnarly. I mean, like the
Yeah.
whole seeing the bug like crawl
Crawling.
through him,
Yep.
that's creepy. But then it going in his head and then him running into the wall. Like
Yeah, it was
he's like,
upsetting.
Oof.
It was extremely upsetting. That is why I did not watch this movie for so long. And I finally was like, okay, maybe I can handle it. And that part still scared the shit out of me because I don't like it at all. That's a nightmare that I didn't know. Again, I'm finding new nightmares all the time, things that are going to be my new worst fear. And that's definitely up there. I didn't know that was a thing. Are there bugs that can fucking do that? Because gross. If that's a real fucking thing.
Well, then the second time it happens with the brother, we get one of Brendan Fraser's most badass moments where he sees it crawling up and he just pulls out the butterfly knife and then just pops it out.
I know. And then shoots it. Like it's a fucking bug and he shoots it. I've always wanted to like shoot a spider. I don't know why, but like I just figured it'd make me feel safer to like attack it from a distance.
That's the funniest mental image I guess that in my head of just you with a gun trying to shoot a spider.
I would have to have, this is my dream, is that I would have a sniper rifle. And it, instead of like bullets, it's just like a poison dart. You know?
You want to shoot a dart into a spider?
Yeah. Yeah, to kill it? Are you kidding? I think it'd be fun. I might enjoy it actually.
I think a shotgun is the way to go. You need the
That's
wide
too much
spread.
damage. No. I don't need the widespread. I need to hit it. I need to like get the clicks exactly right. I need to like zoom in. I need to know for sure that I have it.
But you'll probably be like 10 feet away.
Yeah. Well, no, I'd have to be hella far. I'd be like 50 feet away. Are you kidding? That's why you get a sniper rifle, so you can attack these things at a distance because they can fucking run hella fast. So just saying, yeah, the bugs in this movie, I'm not about it.
Well, and then the other badass moment of Brendan Fraser, like there's a lot of badass moments, but like there's two moments that in my head are just like top tier
most badass. Yeah.
It's the bug butterfly knife thing. The other part, and I think this is mostly because I was a child, was when when the guards invade the camp and he lights the stick of dynamite.
Yeah.
And he just like holds it and he's like, what are you going to do? And then they're like, all right, we're done. We're leaving the lock. And then the thing's just like still burning. And you're like, what? Huh? Is he just going to toss it? And he just pulls the fuse out. When I was a child, like all movies I had seen up to this point, like dynamite is the end game. That's the finisher. When you use dynamite, you're done. So to see someone casually neutralize dynamite, my mind was blown. I'm like, what?
That's what I'm saying. He keeps his calm the whole time. Like, no big deal. Same with the fucking bug when he gets the beetle out. And I'm like, the other guy's like, oh God, don't do that. But I'd be like, yeah, okay, do it though, because it's gross. But with the bugs, I do have a question for you on that, because I have the same question every time I watch Indiana Jones, especially the first one, but in general, all of them, is why are there like these ancient burial things under like, you know, in these places that no one has been to in thousands of years, and they're filled with all these bugs like snakes or whatever. Like in Indiana Jones, when they're like, oh, we're gonna drop you in this room full of snakes, I'm like, what the fuck are these snakes eating? Are they eating each other for like thousands of years? How do they know that there's so many in here? Like these guys put them in here and like put a spell on them to make them live forever? Like what the fuck? Same with these beetles. How the fuck? What are they doing for the thousands of years in between the mummy and this guy? Because there's no way that mummy's corpse fucking saved them for thousands of years. They were also locked in that thing with him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? It's my biggest question whenever I watch one of these movies with all these traps and shit. I'm like, this was set thousands of years ago, right? How the fuck are these things still alive? How do they, unless they're magic? That's the only thing I can think of, is they must be magic bugs.
I think that's just where you're kind of supposed to go.
I mean, right? Because they all are like fantasy movies, right? I mean, this and Indiana Jones, they're all like make-believe shit.
I feel like it wouldn't be very satisfying if they got into the crypt, the tomb or whatever, and there's like, oh, there's all of this old ancient stuff, and oh, there's a little feeding area that the whole system of fresh food being delivered into this room for all these animals to survive in. Wonder how that works. I feel like that's not very rewarding for the viewer.
One guy's family for all of eternity, every descendant has to go there and feed those things like once a week. I'm imagining it's got to be like he's dumping fresh bodies or fresh whatever in there, because there's just no way that they're fucking. And if they eat each other, there's got to be one left after all that, right? And if that, I mean, they're probably still going to eat each other. So I just have too many questions. So I feel like, yeah, it doesn't make any logical sense, but it's still fucking scary.
Well, and then actually the last Brendan Fraser badass moment, it doesn't necessarily happen on camera.
Is it
but
the whole movie?
Well, yes, but he actually almost died in this movie. Have you heard the story on
Yeah,
this?
when he gets hung.
Yeah, when he gets hung, like the stunt stuff, like it had some problem, and so he like actually passed out and had to be resuscitated.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, honestly.
And then he woke up, and then they finished filming the scene. So that's just
insane.
Brendan Fraser being a badass.
I know. God. Oh yeah, let me get back in there. I'm sure you guys figured it out for round 2, right? Right?
Yeah.
How are you going to know that I'm not just acting though? That's the thing. I would never want to act like in a life-threatening scenario, because if something bad happens, you're like, nobody's going to do anything because they're going to think I'm screaming because it's actually like for the part. But no.
Yeah. What's the safety word in an acting situation? Pineapple.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're being choked, like hung, how the fuck is he going to say anything?
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to. He's going to have to just say like this. And it's like, are you acting or what? Are you calling cut?
The thing I did not remember rewatching it is when they do the hanging scene, like, and they drop him, like you see it's a stunt person, obviously, but like you see somebody drop and like hit the bottom. And I'm like, how did they do that stunt?
It's the same. I learned this probably from, well, I'm sure it's probably not exactly the same, but you know, the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes one movie?
No, I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Well, he like has to he figures out later at the end of the movie how the killer like was able to be hung by the neck and not die, and he has like some contraption on his back, like a brace or something that like hooks into it. So like the person, like whatever, they're when they hook it hooks up to the back, not the neck.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's what's really supporting you versus your neck. So yeah, it does look like that, but it's probably something similar, I would imagine.
Okay, because yeah, like when I saw it, I was like, there was no cuts. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, did they just fucking kill a guy for a movie? I mean, Jesus.
So I mean, the last thing that I kind of wanted to talk about was really the CGI. The CGI obviously looks dated, but I thought it looked good. Like,
yeah, not too bad. Honestly,
they did a lot of stuff practically.
That makes a big difference.
So you can see the scenes where it's a lot of CGI, but like it's just like, I don't know, like wide shots of like when the fireballs are raining down, like that whole thing is CGI. They're not mixing that in too much.
Yeah,
but like none of it really distracted me too much.
No. And you know, it's crazy how they did the practical effects with like the sandstorm with like his face in it. Like that's practical.
That was super
his face
cool.
blown up. No, I'm just kidding. That was definitely visual effects. You did not react like I thought you were gonna be like, what? No, it wasn't. You're supposed to get mad at me. But yeah, Tom Cruise, he fucking would have like Wizard of Oz that shit. Like made his face blow up.
You know what the sand face always reminds me of? Remember those old like blocks that had all the pins and needles on it? You like put your hand in and then it shows it on the other side. It looked like that when you like put your face on.
That's so true. That's exactly what it looks like. They probably use that as like a fucking reference for the CGI. Because they're like, I mean, that's basically the same, right? We're gonna go for that look. People know what that is. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. But no, like even like the sandstorm and stuff, like I thought all that stuff looked good.
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple things that look a little dated. Like I thought when they mix CGI with Emotep, like the actual actor, like obviously that's going to look a little dated, and him like transforming into a person. But I thought it all was.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, it was not bad. Not bad at all.
Sometimes it's like if the movie's good and there's like some not perfect CGI, but like you notice it, it's like if the movie's good, you just don't give a fuck because you're like, I'm already in. You get over it because you're just like, yeah, I'm here for it. You know, it wins you over, and this movie totally does.
Yeah,
it has everything going for it, and it's just like, I mean, after like, I think Pirates might be my favorite adventure movie, but I would say like The Mummy is like up there with Indiana Jones. Those are like, I mean, too bad we don't have 5, like The Mummy 5 coming out with Brendan Fraser. I would be here for that.
Oh, actually, I just remembered the last badass Fraser moment, and this is my favorite
moment.
Is
this the final submission, or are you gonna have one again?
No, this is it, because this is probably my favorite thing in the entire movie. I laughed so hard, and then Sarah started laughing because I laughed, and I rewatched it like 3 times. It's the scene when Brendan Fraser throws the chair at Benny.
Yes.
He just nails him with it. It is perfect.
Yeah. So good. It really is. All of his interactions with Benny are just perfect. Every time I'm always just like, God, these two should have done like 5 movies together. They're great.
Really should.
Great energy and like.
But they would have been a great buddy cop movie.
Well, if it ain't my little buddy Benny, I think I'll kill you.
Think of my children.
You don't have any children.
Someday I might.
Shut up.
But yeah, the chair throw, it's that and the Malignant chair throw are my 2 favorite chair throws ever.
That could be an episode. Let's talk about some good chair throws. It might be too much WWE in there for me. But yeah, excellent.
But, yeah, this movie is just, it's great. Such a good time. And I'm glad.
Yeah.
As much as I hate the 2017 one, I'm glad that we watched both these together, because now I'm just like, I never need to watch it again. I've watched them both, and that one is bad, and this one is just so much better now because I just remember how bad that one is. I'll never forget, just because I now have these together in my head.
Exactly. Yeah, I do feel like watching them together, at least you're like, okay, well, at least we got something good. But it's sad that the shitty one came out more recently, because it's like, well, I bet no one's gonna fucking try to remake The Mummy for a while, which maybe that's a good thing. You know, maybe we don't need a remake right away. They're doing, I will say, like, since they're not doing any spin-offs of the Dark Universe shit, they are doing like they're going towards more like a singular vision for each filmmaker and kind of making it their own and not like a shared universe, which I'm here for. I don't think these guys, I mean, it's like they're not the Avengers. That's the thing. They're not teaming up. If anything, they're always against each other, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was what I liked about Van Helsing, is it had all these 3, but it's not like they were like, let's team up and fight the other bad guy. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you guys are not supposed to get along. And like, what's the point? Like, again, The Mummy needs to be set in the fucking desert in Egypt. Like, that's the whole point. You don't need to set it in London just so you can fucking throw in whatever the fuck his name is. Jacqueline Hyde. That's stupid. I don't care about him. Give me his own movie, maybe. But again, give me a transformation at least. After I rewatched Van Helsing after The Mummy, because I was like, the new one.
And he's in that one also. He's
Yeah,
in the very beginning.
Yeah, he is. And I totally had forgotten it. And I was like, oh yeah. And he looks like hella scary.
Yeah.
He's creepy. Big dude. Like, that was a real transformation. Whereas Russell Crowe's just like, oh, I got some colored veins now and my eyes are yellow. And I'm talking with a Cockney accent. I can't even do it, Jesus. But it's horrible.
All right, last question. I think we both can agree. Brendan Fraser, Rick O'Connell definitely kills Tom Cruise in a one-on-one fight.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Cruise can maybe run away from him, but that's about all he can do, and maybe jump out of a plane and kill himself that way. That's kind of what I think. But yeah, Brendan Fraser could take him.
And also, at the very least, he can throw a chair at him, and that he wins.
I mean,
Game
as
over.
we saw with Malignant, that move fucking takes him out.